एक ओंकार सतनाम करता पुरख निर्भव निर्वैर अकाल मूरत अजूनी सैभं गुर प्रसाद। धन धन गुरु गोबिंद सिंह साहिब सच्चे पातशाह, धन गुरु ग्रंथ साहब जी महाराज। कमाले करामात कायम करीम, रजा बख्श राज करे हको रही, अमा बख्शो बख्शन देओ दस्तगीर, रजा बख्श रोजी देहो दिल पजीर। हवाए बंदगी अबुर दर वजूद मरा, वगरना जोके चुनी आमदैन नमूद मरा। What is the point of coming to this earth if we don't do bandagi? Bhai Nandlal says, Daulat Javed Bashat Bandagi, Kun Bandagi, Kun Bandagi, Kun Bandagi. The wealth which is forever, Javed, is the wealth. Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji ki Fateh. Today we are exploring the topic of death. Something which is very close to all of us. The thought of death, fear, disappointment sometimes makes us feel sad. And we have the fear of the unknown. And this is the thought which makes us avoid talking about death, discussing death, or exploring what is death. We fear it. And that is natural. We only know life, which is the physical life, what we have explored through our senses, what we have lived through our lives. We don't know what is beyond this life. In fact, if we really look at it closely, we don't know what is life. Because life and death are two energies or subjects which flow into one another. The living dies. So obviously death is connected to life. So before we go into what is death, we need to explore what is life and where does this life come from. In the Siddh Gosht, Guru Nanak was asked by the yogis, "Kahan te aave, kahan hai jaave, kahan hai rahe samai?" Where do I come from? Where do I go? And where do I find rest? This question asked by a yogi obviously was already very evolved, because he is pointing out that life has only two opportunities. One is wandering, and the other is finding rest. And I assume when he says samaya or finding rest, he does not talk about temporary rest. He talks about forever rest. Sadhu, yogi, sant, guru do not deal in commodities which are transient and temporary. They always talk about sada. Judo Krishnamurti talks about what are we are all seeking. And he says we are all seeking happiness. And we are seeking it forever. If someone was to tell us that I will be happy half the day and sad the other half, then my entire day will become sad. Life is a movement. It's not stationary. So the question itself asks this: where do I come from? Where do I go? The wandering. And where do I cease this wandering? Guru Nanak mentions one word which we are not very familiar with. But to understand his message, we need to explore that word. He says, Hukme aave, Hukme jave, Hukme rahe samai. Hukam word means order, rules, means certain laws. Whatever is the hukum of the Indian government is in the laws of the government. The presence of the government is in what the laws are. If there is no law, there is no government. Similarly, the Creator's hukum is in His order. His presence is in His laws, in His rules. And Guru says that we are all encompassed by this hukum. Whatever be our state of mind, moving or stationary, it is under this umbrella of hukum. And interestingly, when he explores this hukum or order of laws of creation, then he says in the Japji, to understand these, we need to go beyond the ego. What is the ego? How does it come about? What is life? Is very inherently fused with this concept of I am. Because that is all I know about life. I only know life through the platform of I am. Now assume for a minute the fear which we have about death and the unknown aspect of death. And let's go on a small journey to understand how there is one segment of people right from the BC who make mockery of this death. Around 35-50 BC, Socrates, sitting in his prison at night, is told by his friend Crato, I have bribed everyone, run away at night. You will die in the morning. And Socrates laughs at him and says, you really think me to be a fool. The offer which they gave me in public, in the court of law, in open public, leave Athens and we let you live. And I did not take that. There must be a reason for it. And now you are telling me that I should run away like a thief in the middle of the night. And this is a small dialogue between him and Crato, and how he explains what is life and what is death, and how he perceives death. Obviously different from us, because he doesn't fear it. In the morning he has to take poison. Diogenes is the head of the school of the cynics, and he plays with his death when he tells Alexander on his face, move away, don't block the sun for me. And Alexander had just won Athens. Diogenes did not fear death. What is it that was different about his knowledge of this life from us, that he did not fear it? We all know the story of Angulimal, the man who used to kill people, cut their fingers and tie it on his neck as a necklace. Gautam Buddha was told that in this forest this man lives and he can kill you. Don't go. But the Buddha goes there, has a dialogue with him, transforms him. He's mocking death. Guru Nanak stays with this person called Sajjan Thug, who's running a rest house, and he kills his people, his visitors at night, and takes away their wealth. Knowing that he does that, Guru doesn't avoid it. He faces this Sajjan Thug and transforms him, like Gautam Buddha transforms Angulimal. What is it that they know about life that we don't know, that makes this aspect of death not to be feared? Kabir takes a flight and says that jis marne te jag dare, mere man anand. He says that which the life people fear in death, I am happy to face that death. Marne hi te paiye puran paramanand. And only then, when I die, will I be finding my rest with the complete Creator. Puran Paramanand, Param Anand. This has a lot to do with the structure of the man, but I will come to that later. There are so many other examples. We know of the story of this Sufi sant who was being cut to pieces. Anahal Haq, he said. And when he was being cut, he was laughing. And people said, you are being cut to pieces. Why are you laughing? Mansoor says, I am laughing because whom they are cutting is not getting cut. There is a reality to life beyond the physical body, which they know we don't know. What is that reality? Bhai Mani Singh was ordered by the Mughals to get cut joint by joint, every finger at a time. He was very elderly. And the executioner had pity and said, I think I should just finish it off. And Mani Singh said, no, don't do that. Go ahead. He was mocking death. Guru Tegh Bahadur here in Chandni Chowk with 3 of his followers was mocking death. Even these small children, Sahib Zorawar Singh, Sahib Fateh Singh, Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Maharaj, they were told by the Mughals, convert and we will let you go. We'll give you kingdoms, we'll give you lavish lifestyle. But they refused. What is it that they knew about this death and life that became so much more different from us? There seems to be an element in life which is beyond death, or which is more deeper than what we have experienced. How do we get to know that? And where do we find it? In the Guru Granth Sahib, he says, "Is man ko koi khojo pai." Seek this within your mind. Tan chute man kahan samai. When the body goes, where does the mind go? It's a very relevant question. We are aware of the man through our senses. We see, hear, touch, feel. This is all in the man. All our senses give us this experience. But if one of these faculties goes away, if someone is blind, then this hearing becomes much sharper, much deeper. So the faculties of the senses are not a means by themselves. They are just a partial method of touching the man. There is a man inside us which finds its expression through these senses. Even sometimes we find we got scratched somewhere, our body got hit by something. We didn't realize what happened. So we were beyond our body. But unknowingly, we were not aware of our body for that temporary moment. So what I'm trying to say is that in our normal lives also, we have had experiences which are not so normal. What we think to be normal, beyond the body. Where Mansoor is saying, I'm getting cut, but I'm not getting cut. The body is getting cut. That's not me. So there is an element of I am where the body is only a play of this I. It's not the complete story. In the Asa Di War, Guru Nanak says in one place, De lambi nadar nihaliye. Have a very long vision about life. Have a view of life which is beyond life and it goes into death. Often he says that accept that death is a certainty. There's an interesting story of Guru Nanak going into Sialkot and some Peer had told him that there are only heathen people in Sialkot, so it should be destroyed. And Maharaj gave 2 coins to Bhai Mardana and questions. What is such and what is false? What is truth and what is false? The whole day Mardana went to Sialkot, and in the evening he came back. And this one trader had taken these 2 coins. He said, buy these, truth and false. The answer was, Marna sach, jeena jhoot. Death is truth. Life is false. We don't live like that. If death is truth and life is false, then what are we living? What is my experience of this whole play of life? What is my life? And where am I coming from? In the Siddh Gosht, Guru Nanak was asked by the yogis, Ja hirde dena hota, taman kathe rehta. When there is no body and there is no heart, where does the mind live? Hirde dena hoti audu, taman sun reha beragi. Maharaj says then there is a state of the man which he calls sun. Sun. Sun is let me say for a moment, source mind, where we all come from, where all of us have come from. And that is a universal mind. It is a common mind. What we call God. There's an interesting story of Ramana Maharishi. At a very young age in his life, he was standing in his room and he fell down. He fell down and went into samadhi. He was senseless for not many hours. And he got up from that and he left home. All his life, Ramana Maharishi lived in this mountain called Arunachala. What did he experience that changed his entire being? That is the critical aspect. What changes in these people that they know death to be a play? They don't know it as an ending. They know coming and going into this body as a temporary phenomena which is not permanent. The issue here is that for us life is everything. All, as we say, we've invested all our eggs in the same basket. Everything is in this living body and this is all we have. And obviously that makes us fearful, because if this goes, then what do we have? We'd have no experience beyond the body. And that sums it up all. Is the body the beginning and end of everything? And the question, where does this hukam and the play of hukam and understanding of hukam, the order of the creator, where do I come from? Guru Amar Das Maharaj says in one place, live chutki lagi trishna, maya amar vartaya. When a person is born, he is detached from his source, the sun. He calls this sun live. So somewhere in our mind is the ability to connect to our source. Live chutki. When we are born, we break away from that source. Because imagine, we are in our mother's womb for 9 months. Who's looking after us? Where is our man? What are our thoughts? What are we doing? How are we being cared for? I am not caring for myself at that time. No ability. In fact, after birth also, I can't care for myself for many years. I'm very dependent on what? What is the nurturing energy of life? That is Maya. Maya nurtures us. Guru Amar Das interestingly explains, Jaise agan udar mein, like the fire in the womb protects the child. Aisi bahar Maya. Like that, the Maya in this creation nurtures and protects our being. If there is no Maya, then what will there be? There will be only the creator. The entire creation will collapse in itself. So the Maya is the view of the other. There is the other. So it's not as though Maya is our complete enemy. What is our enemy and what is our seeking? This happiness which we seeking forever, where does this lie, Maharaj? How there is a life beyond this physical body? Is it a possibility? Is it just an imagination? Beni is a sant in the Guru Granth. He says that Bhakto Maran Mukut kin pai. Who will find freedom after death? Beni kahe, suno re Bhakto. Maran Mukut kin pai. After death, what does anyone know about freedom? Freedom is of value only if we have found it while we live. What is it that Socrates knew about life that we don't know? He talks about this dream he had about Zeus and he explains. But the point is that these are stories as long as we don't have that experience. So what is life? I take birth, I come to this world, and as I come to my senses, I am starts getting crystallized. The first thing my mother or father will tell me, this is your name, and that I am starts. This is my platform for this world, I am. And it is a necessity. So if somebody gets reinforced, this I am gets reinforced by something. A dancer dances very well, and people say, oh, you dance very well. Then I will invest more and more in that, because I am getting a reinforcement by the other. And I know life only through the other. There was this play in which there were the three actors, and there was no mirror. And one can know about oneself only through the other. This is our life. We don't know ourselves. We know life only through the other. What our parents will tell us, what our teachers will tell us, what we experience. So we don't really know what is there within me. The entire game of life is played in this field of the man, the mind. And we don't know what is the man. We only know our thoughts. Constant our companion of life is thought, moving thoughts. Useless, sometimes mostly random, often enough worrisome, imagining fear more than we should, imagining troubles and problems and growing them so that we get more and more absorbed by them. What is this thoughts? Where do they come from? How am I and this thought different? That is all we know. We don't know life beyond thoughts. We don't even see even without thoughts. There is one story of this saint in China, Lao Tzu, was going with his friend for a walk, and it was a lovely sunrise. And his friend said, "What a lovely sunrise." And Lao Tzu got very alarmed. And he says, what was the use to say that? What was the need to say that? What was he saying? Lao Tzu was saying, the experience of the beauty is not in the thoughts of it. The experience of the beauty is in the complete observation without being thoughtful. The seeing in the man, because the man has two aspects in it. Now, if we really want to explore what is our man, then there is the moving mind, the thought mind, and there is a non-moving mind. Our entire life, our ego and man governs our life. We don't know life beyond the ego. So the mind has two different dimensions. He says, "Eh man Shakti, eh man Shiv, eh man Panch Tat ka Jeev." This man, the ego mind, is the source mind, the Shakti and the Shiv. It's the Maya. It's from where the Maya, the creation of play of life, is born. And it is connected and inspired by the source man, Man Shiv. And how does it find expression? Man Panch Tat ka Jeev, by the five senses. When we come into the body, the ego mind finds its expression. I am. That's why most of us will stand before a mirror and reinforce how beautiful I am or how handsome I am and what I need to enhance this beauty. I'm obsessed with this I am. My entire investment is in the physical I am. I'm a good physicist. I'm awarded by others as a physicist. I will invest more in the physics because I am getting reinforced. Or I even don't get recognition, but I find a transcendence, I find a dhyan in the physics, then I will indulge in that. But is there a man beyond this moving mind? Where is our dhyan? There is our life. And what is dhyan? Dhyan is our source mind. Our energies are invested in various fields of life. That is our dhyan, which is distracted. But if nothing distracts our man, where is the man then? Where does it go? If I am detached from everything, all the subjects of life, even the body, for a minute, let me imagine this is possible. I detach myself from the worldly issues of life, desires, wantings, needs, for a temporary phase, and even from the body. Then where will this man go? This is the natural state of my mind. It is completely dhyan. It is no desire in it. Desires are a play between my man and my ego. I want. So I flow this dhyan into me. I give energy to this I. And that is where my thoughts are also coming from, the I. The thoughtless mind is a very good way to find and understand what is the man. Because the curtain of thoughts is very distracting. This is the ego which is making me blind to see what is life. It's the mirage of life. I'm lost in this play. What is good, what is bad, what is pleasurable, what is nice, what is hurtful. All this is everything that life is for me. But this is only a partial experience of life, Maharaj. There is another man, which in the Guru Granth he calls Unman. It's actually a yogic tradition where this word comes from, Unman. Literally translated means no mind. So he says, Man Shakti, Man Shiv, Man Panch Tat ka Jeev. Man Lejev. When this ego mind goes away, Unman Rahe, then the source mind remains. The teen lok ki baatein kahe. Now we are exploring death, Maharaj. What will die? I will die. What is I? It's my conditioned mind, my body, and my entire experience of life. Whatever I've put into this man, that is the I. So in this way, if we really look at it, whatever life has given us, it will take it away. There will be one thing it will not take away. One is the baggage which we carry in the man, the records in the mind, the experience which we have of life, it gets recorded in our man, and that is carried as baggage, and that dictates our life. This is a precipitate of the ego mind, of the ego man. Whatever this ego will do, it has to pay for it. So as you sow, so shall you reap. Punni papi akhar nahi. Pun and pap, good and bad deeds, are not just merely words. Kar kar karna likh le jao. As you do, so is written in your man. Then what happens? Ape beej. These are seeds. These are seeds which we sow in our man. The ego sows them. Ape beej ape hi khao. Nanak hukmi avo jao. Again the hukum prevails over the rules, the laws that governs us according to what we do. So I will invest in this education, I will invest in the business, my careers, my social contacts. These are my investments. This is my entire life. And they will all go in death. So naturally I am fearful. What is there beyond death? If everything is gone, if this I is gone, what is it that I will have? And where will I go? What will happen to me? This is the I which traps us. This is our actual death. The ego is the aspect which dies. And we are centered on the ego. We don't have knowledge of life beyond ego. That's our trap. But is there a life beyond ego, beyond the home? Beyond me, home, what is there? He says, Unman, the thoughtless mind, is the egoless mind, where I am not. ऐ मन शक्ति, ऐ मन सेव, ऐ मन पंच तत्व का जियो, ऐ मन ले जियो, उन मन रहे, तो तीन लोक की बातें कहे. Then that gives us the knowledge of entire creation. The structure of our man, observing the man, aware of our man, we get to know the structure of the entire creation. Meaning what? Meaning we know that what is life and what is death. If death will take away my body, it will take away my ego, and I don't have knowledge of anything beyond this, then I am in trouble. Because that means that the whole effort and cycle of the next ego creation rests with me. And we all know that every time we have to rebuild, we have to make that much more effort, and it gets taken away again, and that keeps repeating in cycle and cycle and cycle. Guru Nanak in one of his Shabads tells this Pandit in Ankleshwar near Indore. He says, you are so tired. So many births, so many mothers, so many fathers, so many wives, so many children, so many gurus. All life is incomplete. This is the fallacy, the trap which we live. We live a very incomplete life. We don't know our complete man. We only know the thought mind, the ego mind. What I am, what I want, what I need, what I like or dislike. These are conditioned mind. But is there a mind beyond this, all this moving mind? Because if there is, then that aspect of the man which does not die, which death will not take away, if I am known to that, if I know that, then death doesn't become an absolute loss. In fact, he says that one who knows that state of being, for him life is a visitation. Na neither does he take birth nor does he die. In fact, the ego doesn't come in the play. He comes to this earth, he or she, and goes at will. And his center of life is not this moving mind. His investment of life is not everything in this moving mind, but in the non-moving mind. In the Zen Buddhism, there is a nice meditation called Zazen. He says, just sitting. I just sat down and I gave up the world. I gave up the thoughts, the world is gone. If I have that ability, then I've actually died while I'm living. Is it not? I have lost that investment in my ego. All the baggage which rests with me is in the ego. There is a possibility of life. One is the wandering of life. The other is the rest of life, the samajana. So then what is creation? What is I? I have got disconnected from my source when I lived, took birth. So the I came about when I got detached from my source. And what is that source? And where is it and how do I find it? This is the key to life. Where does it live? It lives in our man, within me. In one Shabad, Guru Tegh Bahadur says, don't go running around the forest to find God. Don't need to do that. Don't go to the forest. Go within yourself. Why are you going to the forest to find him? He lives with you. Bhagat Kabir in one of his Shabad says that Tuk dam karari jo karo hazir hazur khudai. For a moment, make your mind stationary, thoughtless, and you will find the Creator present before you. He says, search for that Creator within your man. Is man ko koi khojo pai. Search in your man, and you will find the answers to death and life. Don't go outside, seek within. Kahire man khojan jai. Why are you going to seek him in the forest? Sarab nivasi sada alepa. Tohe sang samai. The Creator is with you. Nothing exists without the Creator. Nothing. Nothing is there without the Creator. I am also energized by my Creator. Where does the breath come from? The breath comes from the sun source. My every breath is from the Creator. And I don't take breath. It comes to me. Maharaj says, Pop madhyo baas pasat hai. Like in the flower, there is this, the essence is hidden within it. Like the reflection is in the mirror. Mukurma hai jaise chai, taise hi har bas hai nirantar. Just like that, the Creator lives in his own creation. And where do I find him? Kathi khojo pai. Seek within yourself. Go beyond the curtain of thoughts. If I am able to somehow transcend the ego, find a source within me which detaches me from my body, then everything which death will take away from me, I have already moved away from. So it may be a little far cry when I say detach from the body, but we actually sometimes on everyday matters get detached from the body. In the sleep also we do that. He says there are the stages of sleep. The REM sleep, the random eye movement. And beyond this random eye movement, there is a very small phase in the sleep when the mind is completely gone. There is no action in the man. Jagrat Supan Sukhopat. This is called the Sukhopat Avastha. the third stage of sleep of the man, where the mind has gone to its own source, connected to its source, and got energized from there. So when he talks about creation, he says, like a droplet of water separated from the ocean. This is my entire creation. My life is like that. In fact, the entire creation is like that. Pani kero budbuda tyo manas ki jaat. Jaise jalte budbuda. Just like a droplet separates from its ocean. The entire creation structure is like that, Maharaj. Of course, we don't know this aspect of ourselves, so we doubt it. Until we don't know it, it's absolutely natural to doubt it. How can I not know something and imagine it? If I imagine it, I am making a fool of myself. So I need to experience it. इस मन को कोई खोजो पाई, तन छूटे मन कहाँ समाई. He says, मूंद लिए दरवाजे, shut the doors of the entire world, outside world. Bhagat Kabir in one of his Shabad says, चल रे बैकुंठ तुझे लेतार. Vaikunt is his name for the space within me, which is this permanent state of being. He says, I'll take you there. And one of the steps he says for that is that Sagal Tajeen Gagan Dodav. Give up my desires of the world. Detach myself from my thought. And I go inward. But here there is a mystery, a small rider. First of all, I don't know this dhyan where I can get so focused that I detach from thought. It needs some training. It needs association, sangat. It needs nurturing. It needs investment. I don't know this level of dhyan. That's the first problem which I have. I only want to keep wandering in the superficial stages of the man. Like in the ocean, the top is always moving. When there is a breeze, the waves are moving in the surface of the ocean, but not in the bottom. There is no movement at the bottom. I don't know that man of mine where there is no movement. For that I need to be in Sahaj, stationary man. One. And then there is another rider to it. Because this going beyond the ego man is not possible by me, myself. I cannot do it myself. I can at best make my mind thoughtless, but I can't transcend it. I can't transcend to that man where there is no ego. For that I need Guru. And Guru says that is the Shabad. He says that home dirgh rog hai. First question he asks is, home kitho upje? Kit sanjam mein jaye? Where does the home ego come from and how will it go away? He says, home eho hukum hai. Hukum, the law of the creator is home. If there is no home, if there is no ego, then I am not, you are not, nobody is. This whole play is from ego. But the real results of this life do not lie in stopping at the ego. They lie in going beyond the ego. This is the issue. He says that हीरे जैसा जन्म है. The life is like a diamond. कौड़ी बदले जाए. But we throw it away without the experience of that one experience of life which takes us beyond death, transcends death. Where we are free of this dependence on our ego man, I am, and we are free of this body as well, because the body is the house where we live. We only know the body. Life is only through the body, not beyond it. But then what is this play? How do we go beyond? Because the ego rests in the moving mind. So the mind is our bridge between the physical body and our source man. What we call the Atma, the spirit. The mind is the bridge. It connects the universal mind to the physical body. And if we figured out this man, the source man, where our body lives in the man, it's not as though the man lives in the body. The man is our entire life. It encompasses our thoughts, emotions, our sexual energy. Everything is connected to the man. The breath energizes the system. The pran, and the man, to figure out this man and its source, that is the key to understanding what is death and what is beyond death. So, first aspect is to see how we can transcend the ego. First, make the mind silent, thoughtless. And how do we do that? So how does the mind and the thoughts move? What is the source within me? How are these thoughts coming? Where are they coming from? What is this happening within me that these thoughts keep coming? The moment we figured that out, we've understood that the thoughts are not me. So I am energizing these thoughts, but it's not me. So what if I ignore these thoughts? I don't invest in them. A thought comes that this is a beautiful woman. I don't catch it. I don't invest in that story. It will drop. So the thought, this is a lovely car, I wish I had it. I let it drop. I don't invest in it. I don't invest in it. So my energy doesn't get invested in thought. So the way to do it is, they say, watch your thoughts. Don't participate with them. Watch them. Let them come, let them go. And they will keep coming for some time. And the moment the mind becomes stable, we have found a sanctuary where I disconnect from the entire problems of the world. And I found somewhere where I can rest my mind. There is this other element then. Stationary mind, focused man, dhyan, is one aspect of life, Maharaj. But without the Shabad, it cannot reveal what lies within me. And what is the Shabad? Shabad is the revealed word of God. So the question which was asked is, Home kitho upje, kit sanja mein jaye. Where does the ego come from and how does it go away? Home eho hukam hai, paiye kirt firai. Home is a part of the laws and rules of the Creator, and this is what makes us all move. Kirt firai. Our entire life go about its purpose. Home dirag rog hai, daru bhi isma hai. Home is a disease, a wall, a curtain which blocks us from seeing this entire vision of creation. But the solution is within it also. Home dirag rog hai, daru bhi isma hai. The medicine is also in the ego. By dropping the ego, we go beyond it. Kirpa kare je apni, the Gur ka Shabad kamaye. The key is the Shabad Guru. What does the Shabad Guru and the transcendence of the ego bring to me, Maharaj? This is the issue which needs to be explored, Maharaj. My life will be fearful within the ego. My life will be desireful. I'll keep desiring. Trishna. Gautam Buddha, when he writes the first issues of life, the first thing he says is life is dukh. Life is pain. And the second thing he says is because there is Trishna, because there is desire. So the ego stands on this firm foundation of Trishna, of desire. So if the desire drops, ego will drop. But how does this all go about? The transformation of the man is happening through the connection with Shabad, where Sunna transforms the man. The Dhyan in Shabad transcends the man. It takes us beyond death. How does that happen, Maharaj? We are all looking for and seeking happiness. We are all seeking this happiness in this physical world. That is our entire effort. Everything which we do is for our own happiness, for the children, for others. It's indirectly we are seeking our happiness. We have invested that our children's happiness is our happiness, and the more my business will grow, or my career will grow, or the society, my contacts will grow. These are all choices I make depending on my conditioning. I have learned this over time, that this will give me happiness. And this is me. This is all me. But what if this source of happiness is devoid of all conditions? What if I find a mind source where there is happiness without a reason? Because every happiness which I have with a reason is a not happiness. It is sorrow with it. See, the moment the condition will change, because it is conditioned happiness, the moment the condition changes, it will become sorrow. I am very happy in life. Then death will take away everything I have, and it will become sorrow. So my mind source is, one, unstable. Secondly, it is not dependable. The conditions itself are not in my control. And I don't know when everything will change. Everything will get taken away. I have a perfect life and I fall ill. Everything is gone. I have a very happy life with my spouse. Something happens and we separate. Life has changed, gone. So death comes to us in life in many different aspects. Every loss we face in life, whether it is career, relationships, money, everything which we built on is actually a reflection of our death. Because we have invested in this life, the relationships. One relationship goes away, part of us dies. I have a loss in my career, part of me dies. I have changed my place of being, where I stay permanently. Part of that life is gone, it's dead. A new life is being formed. So life is a continual change. Heraclitus, the Greek philosopher, he says, man can never enter the same river twice. So we are playing in an environment which is continuously changing. And death is the ultimate change. And we are not adept in dealing with change. Because every time something changes, I have to put more energy to cope with it. And this is what makes me sad. This is what makes me depressive. Because I no longer can keep investing like this and keep changing my environment. So I feel this is all hopeless. But what if there is a source of happiness which is unconditional, which has no conditions to it? So it is a part of my being state where I'm not doing anything, but I'm being. My fear of life is connected to the ego. My desires of life are connected to the ego. The moment my ego is gone, fear and desire both will go. But how do I transcend the ego? One of the ways of doing it is love or Shabad. Same thing. Naam is the another way. But then what do I find, Maharaj? Bhagat Ravdas has a very beautiful Shabad. He calls this city of without sorrow. Begampura Seher ko now. A city without sorrow. That's where I live, he says. Dukh ando nahi taithau. There is no sorrow, anxiety where I live. Na taswees khiraj na mal. No taxation is here. There is nobody taking taxes from me. No struggles. Khauf na khata na tarzawal. No mistakes. No fear. Nor is there any loss. So this is a state of being he is talking about. Where does this exist? It exists within us, Maharaj. Where there is also physiology involved in that. But basically, it exists in the man which is beyond the ego, which is the thoughtless mind, which is the sahaj man. Where is the thirkar, the permanent home within us all. And it's not outside, it's within us. We need to seek it within us. Is man ko koi khojo pai. That should be our bigger endeavor. Because everything else which we are doing is for the journey. It's not for the end. Life, we have imposed so many needs to our life that all our energy is invested in life itself. So much of us, our energy goes into just sustaining life. That we've forgotten what will be there beyond life. We don't even explore that. Because there's so many demands from life. Every day we have a new demand. Every day we have to put a new effort. So these are our own conditionings. This is how the structure of society is today and how we are structured as well. But we live the repercussions. हीरे जैसा जन्म है कौड़ी बदले जाए. He says, the worry will not go away. The more knowledge you have, you are still worried, you are still troubled. Then where is this source mind, Maharaj, where I find this happiness which Bhagat Ravdas talks about? Through the Shabad we connect to this. Through the stable mind. And this is how we transcend our death. Because we have found a source which is independent of all physical aspects of life. So if everything physical is gone, this happiness will not go away. He says, Mehram mehel na kot kaave. In one of his lines, he says, nobody can intervene in this happiness source. This grace which is coming to me can't be blocked. If it can be blocked, then it is sorrow. It's a happiness, conditional, then it can go away. But it's unconditional happiness which is within me, which is what Bhagat Kabir talks about, Bhagat Ravdas talks about, which is not outside, dependent on any physical aspect. So I can still live my ego mind, but yet nurture this other mind which has got another source of happiness which is conditional. Henry David Thoreau wrote this book on Walden Pond. Went for some months to live in this Walden Pond and lived a very basic life. And he wrote his experiences. He just gave away everything and just used to go home for 1 or 2 days after a few weeks to wash his clothes and come back and grow his own food, live basic life. When we detached ourselves from the outside world. But we don't need to give up that world. That's the other aspect. There's no need to do that. If we are trained enough, if we are in dhyan, if we can find that dhyan, if we can find the Shabad. So the example which Guru Nanak Sahib Maharaj gives is, Jaise jal mein kamal niralam. Like in a pond there is a lotus. Murgai nesane. Like there is a duck in water. Murgai. Surt Shabad Bhavsagar tariye. Like that, maintain this connection between your Surt and your Shabad. This is our key. In another place, when Maharaj is asked about who is your Guru, he says, Shabad Guru, Surtun Chela. Shabad is my Guru. The word is the Guru. In the Bible, he says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. Maharaj, where is this God? Kati ko chupai. We made a lot of effort trying to sustain our life in the physical world, in the moving world. In one place, he says, Chalte man rakhe. Give up the moving mind. Amrit chakhe. And you will get Amrit within yourself. Amrit is happiness beyond time and death. That's what Amrit means. Happiness forever. Guru Maharaj calls it Anand. And the only condition for Anand is the presence of Guru in my life. Shabad Guru, not physical Guru, he says. It does not need to be physical Guru. It may be. If I say what is Dharam, what is religion? This is religion, to connect to my source mind. I may be Christian, may be Hindu, may be Sikh, may be anything, may be Muslim. If I have not found my source man, then all this structure which I have used as religion doesn't really come to my help. Because ultimately we all face death as our reality. Ultimately we have to face that death individually. Nobody else will come to our seeking. Nobody will come and tell us at that time what to do with death. No one will. And all this ego which we've invested in, the life which we have lived, the structure of relationships, everything will be gone. Flash of an eyelid. Some things may be imbibed within our man, we'll carry them, but those are all movements. As long as there is moving mind, there will be dukh, there will be pain. Without this Shabad, there will be pain in life. Without the stationary mind, without experiencing that mind which is connected to its own source, we will not know Dharam. So what happens? In the Zafarnama, the letter of victory, which Guru Gobind Singh Sahib writes to Aurangzeb, he says, you have taken away everything from me, my children also. But my happiness is not gone. My source of happiness is eternal and internal. Na sazo, na bazo, na fauzo, na farsh. Khudavand bakshande uesh arsh. There is no need for me to have my armies, my house, my family, my wealth, no royalty. Khudavand bakshande. This is the nature of my mind, Maharaj. It's the nature of creation, where bakshish, karam meaning grace, In karam is in Sanskrit means action, doing, and karam in Persian means the grace of the Creator. Maulana Rumi, Jalaluddin Rumi, is a very high flight mystic. In one of his parables, he says, creation has two legs, life and death. When death will come, it will take away life. We don't know life in its completeness. So we will die. Our ego will die, and we will go into the moving realms of the creation. Where will we go? Guided by our karam. So these are the two possibilities of this physical body. I can go into the moving creation through karam, where good and bad, high and low, everything will keep playing just like it was played for many, many lifetimes before me. But the other possibility is I find a stable mind where I have experienced the source mind, the sun avastha. And there I find my stability. Then the play of life becomes that much more interesting and meaningful. Then even life becomes more meaningful because it has transcended death. And for this we need naam, we need dhyan, shabad, sangat. We need exploration, seeking, searching, investment in the inner mind. And how to do that, how to go about, that's a separate chapter. But beyond death, there is a life. And it can be either moving life with the karam world, with my doing as my guide. What I have sown, that will guide my future. And the other is where I find the droplet becomes part of the ocean, where the ego is gone and I have rested with my Creator. I have found my dharam. Without this, any dharam I live, whatever I am doing is incomplete. I can be born a Muslim, next life a Christian, another life. There is no meaning to it. The changing of the structure of the man is where the dharam's beauty is found. Sarv dharam mein shreshth dharam, har ko naam jap nirmal karam. Where the foundation of the mind goes beyond the ego man, goes beyond the ego. The home. Nanak kahe suno jano, it sanjam dukh jaye. How does pain go away? Kit kit bit jag upje purkha. Kit kit dukh binas jai. Where does the world come about, Maharaj? And how does pain go away, sorrow go away? These are our two needs. We don't want pain, sorrow. Maharaj says, home vich jag upje purkha. Through the ego, the entire life flows. Without ego, there is no life. Naam visariye dukh pai. Forgetting naam, we find pain. Bhai Nandlal, one of the poets in Guru Gobind Singh Sahib's court, asked this question, Gham che bashat. What's the reason for sorrow? That's ghaflat az yaad khuda. Forgetting the Creator and not finding my inner source. That's my pain and my sorrow. As long as I keep moving mind as my entire mind and have no knowledge of the inner mind. There was the story of Rabia al-Basra. She told her friends she lost her needle and she said, help me find it. And in the day, they were seeking it outside the house and they didn't find it. And by the evening, they asked her, where is it exactly fallen? And she says, it actually dropped inside the house. And they laughed and joked at her and said, you've made us seek it outside. but it was inside the house, then we should have looked for it inside. She says, I just wanted to tell you this. This is exactly what we do with life. We are seeking for the opportunities and results of life in the outside world, but the real treasures lie within us. Guru Sahib in one place in the Asa Diwar says that Nanak lekhe ek gal. There's only one thing you should have absolute focus on. Aur hame chakna chak. The rest is all the ego world. It'll go away with its own timeline. There's no permanence to the ego world. I will be good today, bad tomorrow, happy today, sorrowful tomorrow. I will be blamed today, exalted tomorrow. This is the changing world. Everything will keep changing. Man. Figuring out the man which I live in and unraveling the depths of the man is the key to finding the solutions to death. And this is the dharma of life. That's why Maharaj, when he comes from the Behi Nadi, says, na ko Hindu, na Musalman. He said, the structured religion is not the permanent experience of life. But this is, he who has opened this key, he is the dharmi. He is the one who knows the nature of his man. The dharma word is a very expansive word. It has very different meanings. Duty, one nature, everything. So he knows he or she knows what is within me, Maharaj. And this is so in this way, the gurus, the saints, they all live everywhere. Every single element of creation has the presence of these souls who are already found and merged with the Creator. Jo jal mein jal aaye katana, teo jyoti sang jyot samana, mit gaye gaman paaye bisram. Their wandering is gone. The ego is the wandering life. Goes away, it's gone. Mit gaye gaman. Paaye bisram. Nanak prabh ko sad kurban. Janam maran do mein nahi. Nor in birth, nor in death. He says, nobody is taking birth, nobody is dying. This is all a dream. This is not truth. What is truth? That is which is permanent, which is forever. Where does it lie? Within you. In the Gur Prasad of life, we find the real essence of life, where death becomes a play. That's why these people play with life, make a mockery of death, of life, of death. Death cannot take away that which they have already known and experienced. So powerless. For us, dear, death is powerful because it takes away everything we have. These are the two extremes of creation, Maharaj. So let us make an effort to change ourselves. Move towards our inner mind. Find our dhyan. Find that mind where there is no wandering. Find that man where the key to the inner Anand can be opened. Anand is conditioned, not conditions Anand. It is no opposite. It's an absolute word. Sukh has an opposite, Dukh. But Anand has no opposite. And only one condition Anand has, you have met Shabad and Guru. You opened the key to our inner mind through the meeting the Guru. Anand paya meri mai Satguru mein paya. And you transcended death. With these words, I will conclude today's talk. I invite questions. If anybody would want to ask, please raise your hand in Zoom And if you're on YouTube, you can write it out and we'll see what we can do. If anyone has any questions, please raise your hand in Zoom and we'll unmute you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Amal. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.